We're in Stockholm and it's a beautiful day today. I'm here with Andrew, who's gonna play Audiology tonight. He's also known as Sneijder. How are you today?
Good, man. Good to be here. Good to be back in Sweden.
Yeah, when was the last time you were here?
Last time I was in Sweden was Summerburst Festival last year. I played Stockholm and Gothenburg, so yeah, it's good to be back.
You've seen the country a little bit more than just hotels and just nightclubs then, I guess, as well.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful country. I really enjoy coming to Sweden. Find the people very, very warm people, you know. Just got to spend a few days here last time I was here, so yeah, it's pretty relaxing. I really enjoyed being here.
I haven't met you in a while, so congratulations on the new addition to the family.
Yeah, thanks very much, man. It's been an education, to say the least. But enjoyable, yeah. Very enjoyable at the same time.
How old is, it's a she, right?
Yeah.
How old is she right now?
Natalia, she's 7 months old now. So, yeah, she's a handful.
How did, your album is called actually Everything Changes.
Yeah.
And does that have to do with getting a baby as well, a daughter?
It's just really to do with life in general, you know. When you're younger, you're thinking like all these dreams you have and all the things you have when you're older and with your friends and all the rest. But everything changes no matter what you think's going to happen in the future. Something else is always mapped out for you. So for me, it's just like a term which means about life and your path in general. Everything always changes. Maybe for good, maybe for bad. It doesn't really matter. But it's just like that's where it comes from.
How did life change after having a daughter?
It changed massively for me. I mean, working on an album and having a newborn baby at home was difficult to say the least. I mean, I wanted to spend time with the baby, but also needed to spend time in the studio. So I had to like separate myself, and it was pretty difficult at the start. But after becoming a father for the first time is going to be difficult anyway. You know, everything was new to me. So after I sort of got my hands on things and, you know, got used to it a wee bit, it eased off a wee bit, and now I'm sort of pretty used to it. Now I think I'm ready for number 2.
Already?
No. Next year maybe. Next year I'm thinking about, yeah.
Did it, having a child, did it give you another perspective on life, or how did it change your views?
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, you're all of a sudden there's a wee person there that you're sort of looking at and whatever, and it's like it totally changes you know. It brought me and my wife a lot closer because I was working, I was touring all the time, and you know now she has a baby at home. It's brought the whole three of us a lot closer. So it's definitely been a really big, massive like shock to the system, as they say, for me, because I had loads of time before, and I was like, well, I thought I had loads of time. And now I have like zero time for anything, but it's very enjoyable, man. It's totally changed my whole outlook on life, and it's made me a better person, I think, definitely.
And you're doing 2 things at the same time. You're having a baby and raising a child, and also starting to work on your artist album.
Yeah, I mean, the decision was made last year for me to start the album around October last year, and Kasia, my wife, was still pregnant at this time. So she didn't have the baby until February, so I didn't really know what to expect. People can tell you and people can explain what fatherhood's all about, but I don't think they can really prepare you for what happens. It was like no time, and like this baby needs constant attention and stuff, so it was a bit of a shock to him, and it did, not saying it came at the wrong time, but maybe making the album and the baby arriving at that time was a bit of a workload for me, you know, so I had to sort of take a step back and really evaluate things, and yeah, it took me some time to really adjust, but I think things came together okay in the end.
An album is actually a pretty big thing in an artist's career. Did you feel ready, or was it natural for you to start working on one?
It's been something I've really been thinking about for a while, maybe for a couple of years now, although maybe a couple of years ago I wasn't really ready to make one, but it has always been a thought in my head that someday I have a lot of respect for people, artists that make an album. I think it takes something really special to make an album. It's not just turning up and putting 10 tracks or 12 tracks, whatever, on a CD. They have to be, for me, listenable tracks, playable tracks, something that comes from your heart and soul that you're going to look back on. You're going to look at the CD and you want to be proud of it. It's just not. A lot of people use an album as a marketing tool. For me, it's not about that at all. This is something totally personal, something that I just wanted to do on a personal level. Obviously, it will have benefits for me as like an artist, and you know, have the singles and stuff coming out, but this was something totally for me as an artist that I wanted to do.
I can actually tell you guys that I agree with what you're saying, because it is very personal. Because I got a personal listen to some of the tracks before this interview, and it's not what I could expect. I mean, obviously some are hard banging, like uplifting trance, but the most interesting stuff is actually things that you kind of won't expect from Sneijder, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole idea behind the album. I mean, obviously you're going to have the Sneijder material on there, the 140 stuff and the melodic stuff, whatever, the banging tracks, but also wanted to show a side to me which, as a listener and a clubber where I came from, tracks, some techno-influenced tracks, progressive house, but not the progressive house that people are used to, more the Preda stuff and the stuff that I enjoy as a listener and a clubber, and basically it's getting a look at me, what my taste is like, and a reflection of what I'm about as an artist, number one, and number two as a person as well. So I think it's a fair reflection of me, of everything I like. All the tracks, every track I've put a lot of thought into, I've worked really hard on. I've put 100% into every track, and I hope people enjoy what they hear.
I asked you before the interview if you were nervous or if you were worried about what people would think about the tracks. And yeah, what did you answer?
I said no, because I'd put like 100. Everything that's on that CD will be 110% of my effort, so I couldn't have given any more. So if they don't like the tracks, you know, I can't turn around and say, oh well, I could have improved that track here, or could have improved it here, you know, could have put more effort into certain tracks, because I physically couldn't have done it. I put like my heart and soul into every track. So yeah, I'm hoping people can hear that as in a reflection as the music, you know.
What's your own personal favorite track from the album right now?
I like them all. Can I say that? They all have elements of what I like in music in their own different ways. So to pick one out would be like picking a favourite food. You know, it just depends on the mood you're in when you want to eat or when you want to listen. It's just they all have their place on the album for me. It's definitely, as I said, a reflection of what I like and what mood I listen to music. If I like chilled out stuff, there's chill out stuff there. If there's breaks on there. If I want to be in the club mood before we go out, listen to some harder stuff, melodic, it's on there too. So to pick out, single out one track would be pretty difficult. Love of My Control was a pretty special track. Obviously it done really well. Also, yeah, all the vocals really. All the vocals have something. When I sit back and listen to all the vocal tracks on that album, I can take something away from them, something that means something to me. So they're all special tracks, I think, to me.
We were talking about a journey for the listener. Could you evolve a little bit on that as well?
Yeah, it's really the whole objective for me when I was thinking about what way I wanted to take this album was I didn't want to really stick just 10 random tracks on an album, you know, just melodic here or whatever. I wanted to structure it in some way that people could actually sit down and listen to the album start to finish, because I come from the background listening to guys like Nick Warren, Global Underground CDs. They're always really well structured. You know, even though they're mixed CDs, there's always a lot of thought put into how it takes you from the start of the CD to the end of the CD. There's always like so much thought. It really is a journey. Listen to the likes of Carl Cox, Sasha, any of these boys. So for me, I wanted my album to be something like that. Obviously, it's not a mix album, but I wanted to have that flow and that journey from start to finish. Basically, have a start and an end like a story. So that's the way I tried to make it.
The first listen we had from the album was actually Acid.
Yeah.
How come you chose that track as the first single from the album?
There was no real reason behind choosing the track. It was just sort of the first track that I had totally finished. I had a lot of ideas on my laptop and I was working on a lot of stuff. It took me a long time to get the vocal tracks finished because I wanted the vocals to be, every track to be bang on 100%. I wasn't going to compromise on any vocal tracks. I didn't want just to put something on there saying, okay, it sounds okay, it'll do as an album track. I didn't want that. I wanted every single track to be 110%, every vocal on there to be something special. So it took some time to get the vocals right. So it just really was putting out singles as they were finished and what I had done at that time, just in the order. So yeah, we sort of had a basic structure of what way I wanted to go with releases, but that was the first track I had finished at that time, so we started the ball rolling with that one.
How does it feel so far? Because you've released Acid and Love of My Control and then Be With You so far as well from the album. How have the tracks been received so far?
I think all the tracks have got like amazing support. I've really been taken back, especially with Love of My Control. It got amazing support across the board. Armin was playing it, Alan Fela, Brian Kearney as well. So it was like, it got absolutely amazing support. I was overwhelmed by like the tweets and stuff, and the feedback on Facebook. People saying it's like their favourite tune of the year and stuff like this. So it was really amazing and sort of touching at the same time to know that something I've worked so hard on has touched so many people. So yeah, I mean, all the tracks have a different feel, as I said, and they're all have their own special meaning. So hopefully when it all comes together and the album's released, I'll get good feedback hopefully from it. Yeah.
What was the what was the vision like compared to what it's really like? I mean, what was your, if we compare to when you focused on starting the album compared to right now when you're like working on it?
Yeah, I think at the start when I thought about making an album, as I said, my wife was pregnant, and it was sort of like I really wasn't expecting how hard it was going to be. It was really difficult. Like I said, I wanted every track to be on there to be perfect and have not just put on the album for the sake of being on there, but being there because I had a place there, and it was like there was 100% put into that track. So that in itself took a lot of work, you know, and I worked for, I'd say, near a year. It took me to make this album from last October, and it's just finished. So it's took near a year, and I think the birth of my daughter and stuff really it didn't help my workload, put it that way. You know, it added an extra workload to what I was already had. So if I took the birth of my daughter out of the equation, it could have been a lot easier. You know, I would have had a lot more time, but I wouldn't change that for the world. Obviously, you know, it was a lot of work, but now I'm sitting back and I'm on the home straight where the album's getting released and whatever. I'm really happy with it, and I would do it all again. Album number 2 maybe coming up soon.
Did you experience any surprises or any challenges that you weren't aware of?
Not really as such challenges. I mean, the best thing for me was that it opened a lot of doors for me to learn new production techniques, like making some of the tracks I let you hear earlier, the more techno influenced stuff, the more slower BPM with a lot more groove and stuff. It allowed me to like do a lot of reading on techniques on how to make those sort of tracks and watching a lot of videos. And you know, it can only stand good for me in my future productions for my trance stuff, because I can interpret that stuff. And for me, being a good artist, that's what it's all about. It's about knowing your trade, always learning all the time. If you don't know something and there's something you want to know about, learn it and add it to your production. It makes you a stronger producer. You can dip into like techno influence stuff and add it to your own productions now. You know, it's like any business you do or any career. If you want to better yourself all the time, you're always learning. So yeah, I'm always like take one day a week, even now, out of my time to learn stuff, like sit and read and, you know, watch videos and stuff. And I think that the album gave me that opportunity to really, you know, produce some different stuff and learn a lot of new techniques as well.
How much did you learn from collaborations as well? And tell us a little bit who you collaborated with on the album.
Yeah, it was really interesting working with some new up-and-coming artists like Noble Six. Really love his stuff, love his melodies and stuff, so was influenced around his melodies and my production for the collaboration with him. Also with one of my idols, Giuseppe. It was great working with him. Everyone knows how good Giuseppe's melodies are and his production, so it was really interesting, you know, working with different people and vocalists as well. In the studio with Nick Callahan as well, who's another amazing producer from Scotland. Nick's a really good guy, you know, his stuff's really solid, he's a really good producer, so it was good for me and him to sit in the studio and bounce ideas off each other. I think we'll have like a very similar idea of what way things should sound, and we went down a totally different route than we would normally go with the track. We went sort of like techno influence with like the old tech trance sound, so it was good to bounce ideas off each other and sort of come up with a track there. Collaborations are always good because you're seeing two different personalities in the studio. You know, your way of doing of doing something in somebody else's way is always going to be completely different. So it's good to meet in the middle and see different techniques, and it was interesting.
Is there a a set release date yet for the album?
Yeah, the album's coming out at the end of November. I'm just waiting on the final date. I should have that pretty soon, but it'll be probably the last week or the second last week of November.
And how are you gonna feel when the album is released? Are you gonna feel relieved, or are you gonna feel empty, or?
I think I'm gonna I wouldn't say relieved. I'll feel very proud. I know that for the work that I've put in. I don't think anybody knows the work that I've put into that album. Only the people that I've been dealing with like John and the guys of Subculture, and obviously my wife and my family. They're the ones that know the hours is put in, because they see the studio time and they see the graft that goes in. People just they hear the singles and they see the final product, but they don't really see the graft that's went in. So yeah, I'll feel really proud and excited at the same time to see how people perceive what I've done, and hopefully they like it. Yeah.
How important was it to release it on CD as well for you?
Yeah, I think it was massive for me to get it released on CD. I think to hold a physical copy of a CD is something special, something magical about that. You know yourself when you bought mix albums and stuff, and you waited even for a vinyl to be released, when back in the days when people released a vinyl track, and to actually hold that vinyl, knowing that, you know, you've took a train down to a record shop in Belfast or something for an hour to buy one vinyl and to hold it in front of you. It was something magical. You can't take that away from that magic of vinyl shopping. It's the same thing with holding a physical CD, especially to see your face and your name on the front of it, and know that everything on that CD was your hard work and is the final product of like a year's hard graft. So yeah, it was special. Yeah.
Sneijder actually even promised me a couple of signed copies that we're going to be able to give out on the KidSon Facebook page, so have a look out for that as well. What else can we, what else do you have? I mean, obviously the album is a big thing, but for the rest of the year, what do you have coming up?
Holidays. No.
Well deserved.
Yeah, seriously, I think I'm going to take, like, after the album drops, I'll probably take a month off, 2 months off, spend some time with my family, enjoy my Christmas, and then pick off. Well, I have some tracks already for the new year sitting ready, that's ready to go, so I'll just fine tune those and get those ready for release. I have some other plans coming up, you know, in the new year, which I can't obviously say about yet, but I have like some good plans in the works. I want to take myself to the next level and sort of, I'm just going to really focus on the career. Who knows, album number 2 maybe. I would love after the experience of the first one, I would definitely love to make another one. I don't know whether I would announce it so soon, but I would maybe just work in the background, and then when it's like, I don't know, 70% done, say, okay, I'm gonna do another album. So I enjoyed the challenge, so I definitely wouldn't rule that one out for next year or the year after, another album.
Has it been a positive experience, or has it been not painful but stressy, or how has it been?
It's been mixed emotions. I mean, it's had a wee bit of everything, but all in all, I think I came out the other end like a better producer, number one, a better person, because it's made me stronger and stuff, and it's just been a great learning experience. I've really enjoyed it. I think with everything you do, there's like ups and downs, but as long as you enjoy what you're doing, you forget about those. Once like I see that album comes out, I'll have forgot about those, you know, ups and downs and those bad times. You look forward to the good times and the album being released or whatever. So I think with everything you do, as I said, there's always like a rough ride here and there, but if you're positive and you enjoy what you do, it always turns out to be enjoyable, you know.